I can't even front. I couldn't do it. It's too hot. I tried. I was gonna do the whole Jadakiss, Jewel's OD outfit, pile of trash, clothes thing he did, but like couldn't do that. Just wasn't feeling it. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're in 4K. What? My face looks horrendous in 4K, by the way. I'm not impressed at what 4K does to your skin. Okay? What's going on, beautiful people? My name's Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome to the Kasabian Lavoe Show. If this is your first time watching, like and subscribe. We appreciate that. The show's about discourse. It's a show that never ends. Every week we're back. And yesterday was something so monumental that I was going to come on, but I couldn't do it because I wanted to wait for the day. So, with that being said, let's get into this. We record the podcast we're recording this for the podcast. That's what we're doing. So, if it seems weird or you're like, what is he talking about when he's doing that? That's what's going on. But you know what I'm saying? We in here. Oh, ew, that's gross. Can I hear myself? My bad. We got the 4K. This thing is ginormous, and it's even hotter. It's even hotter. I cut myself shaving today. I can't even. It's been a fucking day. All right, let's just get into this podcast because honestly, there's a lot to get into. 100 guns, 100 clips. I'm from New York. I was going to do the bandana and do-rag and all that. Look, I put on all my chains. That's the most I could do. Yeah, I ain't even worn this. This shit hurt my neck. I don't even want to do this. It looked crazy. If you can't hear the music, you're not listening to the podcast. So head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or head over to the website, klavoe.com, and you can listen to the music, the intro. I remove all the words of me talking out, so you don't got to worry about that. But either way, while I'm zoning. Ooh. How y'all like this new camera? It look crazy, right? Hold on, I got to show all the chains. It's a must for the day. What? Couldn't be sweeter. Life's a itch. How you treat her, you might get rich. 3 hours till they light they spliffs. It'll get you a long time. It's like America online. Whenever you die with your eyes open. Like them little motorcycles, stick up kids, the old rifles. They so spiteful. Ha, I'm just like you. It's in the air. I'm confident. I gotta play the whole thing. It's a compliment. It's such a good song. Head over to the podcast and take a listen. Take a listen. I like the 4K. It's different, right? I think it's different. It feels different. I just don't know if I'm looking in the middle. Because, like, how we looking, though? Wow. No. Man. God, I don't care. I'll take the fucking strike. Doo-doo. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I got 100 guns, 100 clips. I'm from New York. How we looking, though? Hold on, my bad. Did we really leave the whole outro, guys? It's Kasabian. Kasabian Lavoe. Wow. What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome to the Kasabian Lavoe Show. Well, I don't know where to look, so I'm sorry. If you're listening, you can't see the visual beauty of today's show. This face is definitely for radio, and I should not be on the television. I'm handsome, but I'm not... I'm not TV handsome. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not made for this TV, and it's so hot. And the 4K shows all the 4K. It's 4K'd up. We're 4K'ing it. All right, check it out. I do that for Joe Budden and the JBP because I love them dudes. They're my favorites, and they didn't make me do this, but they inspire. Oh man, are we gonna turn the fan on? Yo, like Vegas was humid. I had a puddle. Let's you know what? My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome to the Kasabian Lavoe Show, episode 216. I live by the 215 if you're in Las Vegas. Don't look for me, but I live by there. This is the episode 216, live from Las Vegas, where it's 175 million degrees as we are on the face of the earth once again. If you take a look outside today, you wouldn't know that 3 days ago was like flooding. There was like massive rain and storm and all this craziness going on. And that's okay because Vegas is not really known for rain. It's monsoon season, so we get these things going on. Now, damn it, it's been so shitty. Bro, I was driving and I shit you not, I heard a splish splash in my car. And when I say I heard a splish splash, it literally sounded like somebody had a bucket of water in my car, and I said, oh my fucking God, what the fuck is that? Just like that. I shit you. Like I was in such just shock as to what exactly was in my vehicle. And when I look over to the side, there's a fucking puddle of water that was like 3 inches deep, yo. Like a mouse could swim. And you go, Kasabian, why? I said, shit, I don't know. So I looked, and the AC was all sweaty. Damn, I got fucking gas. The AC, see, I can't even talk. The AC was all sweaty. And I said, damn, maybe it's the humidity, because it was like 90,000% humidity outside, right? I said, maybe it's that. Maybe it's the humidity. And then it dawned upon me. Damn, I just washed the car with the undercarriage. Maybe I clogged up the drip. Man, sure as shit rains, bro. I clogged it up. I mean, there was so much water in the car. When I pulled the drain, it literally looked like somebody turned the water hose on. It's been a long week, and it's so hot, and it just doesn't stop being hot. Head over to popple.co. Use Kasabian Lavoe at checkout. Save 20%. If you're an entrepreneur like myself, you understand that Popple is actually something that can help you in your day-to-day just because, listen, in a post-corona world, we might be going into a shutdown. I don't want to say that we are, but in a post-corona world, do you really want to hand out business cards? Like, come on. You can literally change your picture on the landing page. Popple keeps a record for you. You can go to the pro and you pay per month, and they basically keep a record of who and what's popping you. I mean, as a realtor, it might be good for you as it is for me. Depends on what you use it for. But head over there, use Kasabian Lavoe at checkout and save 20%. Let them know Lavoe sent you, save you some bucks. And head over to hemper.co. Use Kasabian Lavoe at checkout and save you some money or save you something. I'm still really not sure what you save you, but this month in a commemoration, I believe is the word. I can't ever fucking come up with the word for this. But they did a Space Jam box. I got my Space Jam box, and I smoke weed every day. Just for layman's terms, it's dope. Bro, it's $40 a month, and they send you a box of goodies. You get a bong, it's a little mini bong. For those that don't know about the Popple, boom. I don't know how. There it is. That's Popple. That's my Popple. So if you poppled me, you would understand what's going on. I don't know how I feel about this screen right now, so we're gonna go to this one. Is that better for y'all right now? I mean, once y'all start chatting, if y'all let me know, we'll jump right over to the other screen. Excuse me. Those are the sponsors of the show. Also, head over to klavo.com and check out the merch. Why? Because it's good to support. Remember, when you donate to the Kasabian Lavoe Show, you're donating to feed 5 Puerto Rican kids and put them through college. That's right. When you help the Kasabian Lavoe Show or the Kasabian Lavoe, just everything that we do here, that donation goes to help these 5 kids. I know they're my kids, but either way, it's 5 Puerto Rican babies, and you can write that off, I think. Don't ask me. Ask your EPA people or CPA people. I have a cut on my face because them bevel blades are sharp as shit, and I need to go to my barbershop. Let's get into it. We're going to be talking about Verzuz. It's pretty much taking over the internet right now, so we got to talk about Verzuz because it was the most amazing thing I ever seen in my entire life, okay? I'm going to put it like that. Madona's a weirdo. I was just talking to myself, but maybe we'll save this for Friday. It's cheaper to get a grill than it is to get your teeth fixed, which is like dead ass. Like, it's so much cheaper to just get some diamonds thrown in. I want to talk about that police officer in Texas. I held off on it, but now I want to get into it. What's going on with Spirit Airlines and New York City? It is literally the theme of this show today. So it's New Year. You know what time it is. My name's Big Lavoe. We in this year. So New York, Cuomo, sexual assault allegations. We're going to cover that. It's pretty nasty. New York is now asking you to bring your Vax card. That's weird, but I guess we're all going to be vaxxed soon, even though it doesn't work, which is very strange. But anyway, this episode might not fucking make it. We'll see what happens. But we got to talk about it because it's happening. And New York City is asking for the vax card. They're going to give everybody until September, but they are asking for it. Last night, what we witnessed was what happens when time is time. You wouldn't know that Jadakiss was top 5 or probably the best rapper, dead or alive, until you saw what happened last night. And it wasn't that it was a defeat. It was that he single-handedly was the leader of his group, period. He didn't step away from it. He stood right there and he went for the fade. He was a leader in every aspect. Not only did he lead his group, they looked so in sync. They were happy. They were ready to go. What happened last night was a pure example of when too cool don't fucking work no more. I always tell you, popular will never, popularity is special because you do need it. There's a point in time when popularity definitely comes in handy, but popularity and talent aren't the same thing. You may be a popular person, but you may not be talented by no means. And when people are pursuing things of this nature, damn, I don't think anybody wakes up and says, I want to be the GOAT. Like, you may say it, but do you mean it? Like, do you understand the type of work that goes into being the GOAT? To be the GOAT. Like, let that sink in. Especially when it comes to hip-hop. Like, we still talking about Biggie and Pac, and that's 30 years ago. We've had artists that have surpassed them in many, many ways, but we still consider them the best. Jadakiss has proved that he made it through all those eras, including today, and still sounded not only phenomenal, looked phenomenal, stood on stage and did what I would expect my favorite rapper to do. And it was amazing. Jadakiss he knocked off, so Ludacris has fallen out of my top 10. Nicki Minaj has made her way to my top 10. Jadakiss may be number 1. Jadakiss may be my number 1 rapper right now. And I mean forever. After what I saw last night, Jadakiss may be number 1 for me. And it may really shake some shit up. Because it's man, damn, that's a crazy list. Jada M50. Then, all right, I'm not even going to say this out loud. But what happened last night was beautiful. 1, coming in late, don't disrespect the client. That's us. You disrespecting the fans. That shit was corny. Wasn't nobody waiting for y'all. Y'all doing this shit to prove to us that y'all still love doing this shit. We wasn't really sitting out here worried about camp like Jadakiss said last night. Bro, you don't even live here no more. Why you acting like you still run New York? You don't run New York. The same for you. You in Florida. Jewels look crazy. My neck hurts wearing all my chains. I only did this shit for New York. I'm in pain. This is the dumbest shit that I have done for this show. There's no need to even wear any of these. Not even half the time. But we're going to wear them for the show. We're doing it for New York City. We're doing it for the locks. Everybody looked good. Styles P looked good. Styles P looked like he was about to knock out Cameron. That was pretty dope. Sheik looked amazing. Called everybody a bunch of pussy ass motherfuckers. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. And I'm glad 50 wasn't there, because if 50 would have been there, I think it would have been a disaster. I think 50 Cent would have broke somebody's face. And I think Jada wanted to break somebody's face, to be dead honest with you. It was a beautiful thing. It was a proud moment in hip-hop, because it shows that hip-hop actually still has an amazing space, or still has an amazing legacy. Like, people sleep on hip-hop. We're so new. Hip-hop's only 45, 50 years old. We don't have our Guns N' Roses and all this shit yet, or at least they don't give us the respect, because Jadakiss last night put on a fucking clinic of how you supposed to show everybody that you the shit. There's a weird ass video with Madonna kissing some little boy in the face. That's her boyfriend, and she was like blowing smoke in his mouth. She went, and they started kissing. Ew, that's nasty. I got in trouble for saying that too. I said ew, and Instagram said that's against their codes or whatever the fuck. I was like, well, are you serious? Like, ew. I think ew, and that's that. Fight me. I don't care. That shit was disgusting. Anybody that thinks that wasn't, you're disgusting too. Did you see that? Like, honestly, if you watch that shit is mind-boggling, because that should not be allowed. It's beyond me that anybody thinks that shit is cute or sexy or any of that. Like, it's gross. Like, it looked nasty. It looked like a viejita sucking face with a jovencito. Que nasty. We'll save that one. All right, so we'll do the Spirit Airlines story, and then we'll talk about the officer in Texas, because the issue that we're having with the officer in Texas, I've read all the stories. I saw the tape for myself, so we're not taking this from nowhere. I'm going to give you my opinion on it and what it looks like happened, and we'll see where it goes. But this was a job well done. So we'll get into it in a second. But let's talk about Spirit Airlines. If you have not been flying, this story comes from CNN, but something was going on with Spirit Airlines where they basically fell off the face of the map. Like, they just stopped. And I don't really understand why they stopped or exactly what was the kerfuffle. It seems to be the week of kerfuffles in the world. Exactly what had happened, nobody really knows. They haven't really said. Their system went down for an hour. Well, here, how about I just read you the story from CNN? It looks like they might be on strike. That's the rumor. So this is what CNN's reporting. The last 3 days were extremely difficult for our guests and team members. This is in quotes. And for that, we sincerely apologize. The airline said in a statement, we continue to work around the clock to get our guests where they need to be. Hold up. Why is it so small again? Pause. Ew. Why'd I say that? Que nada, que te pasa? We continue to work around the clock, get the guests where they need to be. As of midday Wednesday, more than 50% of the airline schedule, nearly 350 flights, had already been canceled, according to the aviation tracking website FlightWare, making a fourth consecutive day of service disruptions. Damn, I can't read for shit. Once we get the other microphones in here, it's gonna be even funnier. The low-cost carrier canceled 61% of his schedule. Damn, 61% of the schedule on Tuesday. I know I read this, but when I reread it, it always blows me away. And another 20% of the schedule was delayed. That's crazy, because that's 80%. That's insanity. That means only 10% was smooth sailing. That's crazy. On Monday, cancellations and delays disrupted 71% of Spirit's schedule. And Sunday saw 60% of its schedule canceled or delayed. Wow, the airline cited overlapping weather changes, system outages, and staffing shortages are causing the widespread cancellation and delays. Cancellation numbers will progressively drop in the coming days. Spirit said the airline has performed a more than thorough reboot of the network, which is set to ease some of the... I mean, can we really blame the network? It's not like Spirit's like the best out there, but I hope they do get it together, and I really hope they don't fall apart. It's good to have a Spirit. We need a Spirit airline. You need the lower end. And I mean, they can offer better services and probably pay better, but we'll see what happens, because it's going to change the market for everyone. And, you know, since instances like this, they actually said in the article that there's no strike going on, but it just sounds like there's a lot of shit happening that kind of overlapped. One of them was pretty interesting. Their computer went down for an hour, and during that hour was when they were putting together shifts, and the union said that basically 300 and something of their employees just fell off the map, or 900 employees fell off the map. So there's something going on. It's pretty sketchy. So there's a police officer. I don't have any names because I didn't want to get into it. When I saw the video, I knew what people were going to say, but this was the first time that I've seen a police officer that was with first off, it's a white police officer. I know we need to say it because we know what happens when you don't say it. So it was a white police officer with a young black lady who had been seen disturbed and trying to kill herself running in front of traffic. So he came out to the scene. He sees her, and he approaches her, and he's asking her what's going on. Then it gets kind of tricky. And when I said it gets tricky, the reason being is that I don't know where you should stop. If somebody says, I don't want you to hurt me, I think you're going to hurt me, get away from me, don't touch me, don't hurt me, I think there should be something that we do there as a society that we can come together and agree that there's like a happy medium to that. Like, what? Because he was grabbing her arm because he was asking her what was going on, and she took off. Now, she looked like something was wrong. So he grabbed her, and when he was grabbing her, she was like, yo, I don't want you to hurt me. She was scared. You could tell something was wrong. And it's sad when mental health is the issue. But nonetheless, I can say the officer seemed to be very sincere. He seemed to have a lot of compassion, and he was honestly looking to help. He wasn't necessarily accusing or judging the young lady based upon what he was seeing. He was honestly trying to help her. And then, like I said, it just got weird when she started saying, I don't want you to hurt me, I want you to get away from me. That's when things kind of fucked me up, because I go, well, Do you walk away or do you call for backup? Do you follow her? Like, what do you do? I don't know what procedure is, but he tried to restrain her and he did. When the restraining happened, he knows jujitsu. He approached it well. He mounted her, although it seemed inappropriate. Yes, they were pelvis to pelvis. He put his hooks on. He had his legs hooked in, so he was mounted on top of her. Seemingly inappropriate, but honestly the safest way for both of them. He had his hands on her ankles and he had his legs around her legs. They were both in a safe position. She couldn't hit him in the face. He wasn't suffocating her by no means. He was actually above her, and in the position that he was in, he could actually lean back and subdue her even more if he needed to. But the position that he was in was pretty stable. He just looked a little sketchy because they were pelvis to pelvis. But in jiu-jitsu, you use your body to restrain the other person. And I mean, when you have ground control and you're in that fucking, I mean, he literally had her in like what you would consider, damn, why am I drawing a blank right now on what the fuck happened? What is that? Well, he was in front mount. And he had her. I mean, it was solid. Like, the dude knew what he was doing. He wasn't hurting the young lady by no means. The young lady did have, like, some type of spit coming down the side of her mouth. She was wilding. She was being restrained. But he was not hurting her by no means. I would rather have seen that than see a fucking knee on somebody's neck and being choked. It's not fair that we what do you want from these officers, right? We want safe, and we want civil. We want respect. We want the ability to not fear. And I don't think anything happened there that was deemed wrong. He really took care of that situation pretty well. And no matter what, they seem to think or feel, I don't care if you think that him inappropriately restraining her. I don't care if that bothers you. I would rather he do that than kill her. So with that being said, that officer did a really good job, and I hope we have more of him out there because that is necessary. It's very, very necessary to have a police officer that's not only able to restrain you, but to keep you safe, because at the end of the day, what he was able to do was keep both of them safe. He kept himself safe, and he kept her safe. It could have went another way. It could have went a real bad way. If you look at what happens in these situations with the officers and regular people that are spazzing out, and for no matter what the reason, and remember, being a person that has mental health issues, one of my problems is dealing with authority. They fight authority. They'll fight it. They'll jump away. They'll pull away. They want to, there's always something. It's never just, it started off nuts. No, it escalates. He did a great job. He probably could have done better at the beginning of it. I really don't know what could have been done. But he did a great job. I think he did a great job. She wasn't hurt. Everything was fine. Her mom tried to intervene. She got locked up too. And I mean, shit happens. But hey, he did a good job. I'm proud of him, and I think we need more officers like that. So for the rest of this New York City podcast, make sure you like and subscribe. Jadakiss is trash. I'm tripping. Jadakiss is the king of hip hop right now. Joel Santana is a trash pile of clothing on the side of the bed, according to Mad Memes. He had on a do-rag. I was gonna do it a do-rag, a rag, and a hat, and I think he might have had one of them fucking sweatbands underneath there too. Old clothes trash man, bugging out. Sheik looked like the OG that was still holding it down. The only reason I'm bringing this back is because I just want, like, the moment was so awesome. It was very epic to watch these OGs come out. Seeing Styles P and All Green. If you don't know, Styles P owns a bunch of juice bars in the city. So seeing Styles P and All Green is dope. Because it's like he owns juice bars. Like, y'all bugging. I don't know. That shit was dope. Cam came out, looked dusty as shit. His beard looked dry than a bitch. So New York City's asking for Vax cards. This pull quote comes from Vox. Remember, all of our news comes from Apple News. If you have the Apple News app, you can basically search kind of our topics. But I mean, I'll give you the title of where I got it from and stuff, so you can look it up yourself and you can see. So you can see the story for yourself and come up with your own opinion. If you don't like the way I'm reading it, because my reading is not that well. Or not that good, not that better, not that gooder at it. Starting in September, New York City will require people to prove they have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. to eat indoors, visit gyms, or go to the theaters. The new program is called Key to New York City Pass, or NYC Pass, but it does not, as the name might imply, involve the release of a new... What? Wait, see, this is what I'm talking about. I know it ain't me. Key to New York City Pass, but it does not, as the name imply, involve the release of a new app or a vaccine passport. Instead, people can show a paper, a CDC vaccine card, or an existing vaccine passport app to prove their status. I mean, I guess that wasn't that bad. So, they're asking you to prove your status to go out and do shit. What does that really mean? And how far does this go? And when I say how far does this go, I mean, what comes with this? Do we not get to go shopping? Like, I just went shopping for the kids. What if we go into a shutdown? You know how much fucking money we've just spent on kids? And what happens if we go into a shutdown? What are we supposed to do? Do we just allow the government to keep on kowtowing the vax as if it's a be all end all, and then they tell us in the next breath that people that are vaxxed are now super spreaders? Like, it's very difficult to just sit here and accept what these people tell us to do, because they say that they're going to do what the science tells them, which is blowing me away. I don't even know what the fuck the science is anymore. So if anybody knows what the science is, please, by all means, it'd be great. So, Cuomo. Oh, Cuomo. I don't have any story. I don't have any pull quotes. So, if you don't know what's going on, hold on. Let's bring it up. Shall we? Shan't we? I know there's a story. I read a few of them. I saw his shitty ass statement, but let's see if anything's changed. I'm sorry for all the shaking, but the camera's on a floaty thing attached to the wall in the desk, and it does that. Let's see. Ooh, look, 2 minutes ago from the Washington Post. Let's see what this says, and that'll be it for today's show. I'm not paying for the Post. Who's gonna give me this free shit? Here we go, CNBC. It's a video. Can y'all hear it? Hold on, let's see if y'all can even hear the video. If y'all can hear the video, I'll let them read it for us. No, it's taking too long. Oh, Cuomo. So Andrew Cuomo basically last year was accused of sexual harassment from one woman, and then it was a few, and then a few more, and then it came to about 11. He started a private investigation himself to protect himself from what was coming. And then his investigation that he did on his own self came out that 11 of the women were true. And the accusations were legit. Ain't that a bitch? When you hire your own team and you get got, I mean, you don't get got. I mean, he did it. Fuck him for being a creep. But there it is. The president wants him to resign. Everybody wants him to resign. Andrew Cuomo is not a bad person, but he's definitely not a good person. Definitely not for this bullshit. Did he do well in New York City? Yeah, I think so. But this type of shit is unacceptable, man. It's like these guys get a little bit of power and they wild the fuck out, and they always take it out on women. And they take it out on the women right around them, which can affect you, I mean, tremendously. Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy that you would think you would want to take care of or protect the women around you. It's crazy that you would start to abuse the people that are next to you as opposed to protect them. And, you know, you want to come out and shit on Trump and talk about all these other people, and look at you. You're disgusting. I actually, speaking of more New York City news, today Akademiks, his podcast dropped Off the Record, and it featured Tekashi 6ix9ine and Wack 100, which was the interview that we've been talking about. And Wack 100, you know, to me, stand-up dude, probably one of the best OGs we got in the game right now. I'm glad he's so vocal. When it comes to, first off, Ack didn't do shit, so I don't know how well the podcast is going to be. I think this was just more content that if you wanted it, you enjoyed it. Ack, step it up, bro. You're going to need to do something for the next one. We got to hear you talk. We got to hear what it is to hear, you know, what your podcast is going to do. What's the difference? Now, do I think it has a place? Definitely. Do I want to see his studio, his mind? Yeah, man, because that whole shit with 6ix9ine and Wack was kind of improv. It was somebody else's studio. I don't like that. Do your own thing. Let's see what you got, and let's see let's see what Akademiks brings to this type of content game, which we already know he can do. It's not that he can't do it, but he's of the ilk. So, he fucks with Joe Budden and them. He's got to have the power to knock this out. Let's see what he could do. Now, one thing that I noticed from the interview is that some of my gangster ways have actually led me to live the square life that I live because of what I was taught. And I'm kind of glad I grew up in my teen and my adolescence in Vegas, because I learned a lot of being a man besides what my grandfather taught me. I learned from the streets. And a lot of my peers in New York are single with no families, as opposed to my peers on the West Coast who are established families, business owners, they ex-homies from the block, things of that nature. And it makes me wonder what's going on. Like, why does the East Coast insist on not getting married or settling down, or what's the big, I don't know. Like, it ain't for me to judge, but like I said, in my age bracket, I noticed there's more single people on the East Coast as opposed to the West Coast. And that, I think, has a lot to do with legitimate stand-up gangster shit. Like, these real gangsters have morals. Like, they have real views. They have these legitimate fucking parameters to life that aren't hateful by no way. And I mean, it's pretty stand-up. It's similar to what a church would do for somebody. You know what I'm saying? It gives them a belief, and it gives them pride, and they stand for something, and they put in certain type of work, and you would expect that to change. Wack said his daughter never seen a sidewalk in front of their house. I could have said that until my last neighborhood. Then they put sidewalks in on the one side. So fuck you, Wack. I mean, it was a good flex. It was a good flex. Wack has a lot of different views on the game that we should really pay attention to, because a lot of the new generation talks semantics, and they're kind of the got you, like, oh, gotcha. Like, it doesn't work that way. Another thing I can say, the police department, the government, the mayors, Giuliani, everything he did in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, and the 2000s worked. He destroyed the streets. He destroyed the New York City's gangs. He destroyed what New York City was to the gang culture. They took literally all the leaders. They picked New York City apart. That's why gang culture in New York is so weird as opposed to gang culture on the West Coast. New York literally picked apart all the leaders and left the streets to be ran by all the fuckboys and all the bozos that live through movies and not through experience. So you got to give a major shout out and props to the police system and the motherfucking government system in New York City and the war on drugs, because it worked. Not only did it destroy gangs, but it destroyed families. It destroyed young men. It destroyed young women. It destroyed so many things, chasing a war on drugs and trying to clean up the city instead of seeing what the real issue was, in which they never saw. So what they did was that they removed the father, they removed the leader, they removed the head, they removed all the things that make shit run, and they left the second or the third, so the beta. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best. You left second string. You gotta fucking give it to them. They did what they said they were gonna do. They fucking took apart the gangs, and they did. They ripped them apart. When you see the shit that Tekashi's saying, the idea that gang allowed that boy to do all that bullshit, it blows me the fuck away, because none of that shit makes sense. In a real world, none of that shit makes sense. That boy was supposed to pay for protection, pay to look cool around the gangs, and get the fuck on. That was it, bro. All the other shit was for the birds. All the other shit was funny as fuck. It should have never went down that way. That's not gangster. None of that shit is gangster. Tekashi's over there talking about taking care of his family's gangster. And yo, Wack's like, that's just being responsible. You supposed to do that. That's not the type of shit you gangster for. Being gangster means certain things, but that's being a man, bro. And being a man is always first and foremost. Like, you gotta be a man, a stand-up man at that. Tekashi's got a long way to go. He don't know much. But I'm glad they had that conversation, but there's a lot of people that won't fucking get it. It's gonna go over a lot of people's heads. It really will. But New York City, I have to say, I'm blown away at New York City and what they were able to accomplish. They ruined so many lives, and they never did anything to fix it. You never saw them provide better work. You never saw them provide anything, really. Like, what did New York do for anybody when they fucking ruined all that shit? Like, they came in through the hood and they ripped everything apart, and all they did was give more welfare. Over 500,000 people on housing for what? They should move out of New York City. They should be living somewhere where they get paid well. How many people leave Vegas and live an amazing life? How many people leave New York and live an amazing life? How many people leave California and live an amazing life? How many people move to New York and live an amazing life? You see what I'm saying? Like, life ain't for everybody in the same place. But I honestly had to sit back and just like really watch, because why is gang culture so different in New York? It doesn't make sense to me. It's so strange. It's just like there's a lot of peace. Like I always saw, and I would say that you in your mind, the person you look up to is 5 times bigger than what they really are, and they might not even know that you see them that big. So you're gonna do something that's 10 times bigger, and in their eyes, that shit is 20 times bigger, right? So that's what you see with gangsters, right? New York was gangster in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, like when everything was first popping on that side of the world. Then in the 90s, when all that shit, or in the 80s, when Cali started taking off, a lot of Cali gangsters might have seen movies and one up the movie. And then it went vice versa in New York. The New York tried to one up the Cali movies, because some people that have, people from New York never saw what Cali life was like until they saw Boys in the Hood and they saw Menace to Society and things like that, and vice versa. People from Cali that never been to New York didn't know shit until they saw Nino Brown running the block. These are real things. And then you act accordingly. You see a movie that influences you for the rest of your life, and it's a fucking movie. That shit might not even be real life. You wilding off of some shit that you think people do. Either way, I'm going to go play video games with my friends. My name's Kasabian. Live in the moment. Don't live in the past. Be safe. Stay dangerous. Lavoe loves you. Peace. Gotta say peace now. I just feel like we need it.